Yeah, I'm gonna mute this tab.
Oh, did it start streaming for you? So that's interesting. Open widget.
All right, I'm muting that again before I.
It's just a constant feedback loop.
It's like, oh. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to poke you in the bottom with my foot.
Okay, so it's up. I'm not really going to pay a lot of attention because I doubt there's going to be like really anybody joining in on that. But that's not why we're here. So let's share screen. There's one specific one that I want. Is this, make this full screen. Okay. And okay. All right, so we've got this up now. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
I've got the live chat pulled up on my phone, so if anybody does decide to come in and say something, we'll have them there. All right, so it's been done before. Welcome. Let me backtrack. Yeah, welcome to this interesting new episode. We've never done this before, never been done before. Episode of Stuck Pig Academy of Medicine, reviewing a video. We technically have already kind of gone through this together at the PLS course that we just did. Man, this is an interesting video.
I was drunk for that.
Yeah. Man. Oof. Sky Pirate Actual did an awesome video breakdown on this. I kind of wanted to do this from more of a medical side and kind of like not that he didn't hit those things because he nailed it absolutely with his review of the video, but kind of getting more so into how we would handle the situation and what we would be grabbing and doing if we were given this specific tasking in our local areas. So without further ado, I suppose we should start the video. So that's interesting, just to not do a teaser, but or to not, I guess not a teaser, but man, that's an interesting thing that he said that way because what an odd choice of words.
So I'm not hearing any sound. I'm getting video. I'm not getting sound, but of course.
Oh no.
I'm assuming you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just not getting any sound off the
Oh bugger.
I mean, I know how this generally goes.
Now it's sharing sound now. Let me haha, we're totally professionals. Let's try this again.
Totally getting paid for this.
Loves a good loadout video.
Can you hear it now?
I can hear it now. Good.
Yes.
Most people, myself included, fall into the trap of buying stuff and then trying to fit it into any scenario that could arise. That's where thought exercises come in.
Buying stuff and trying to fit it into, like I said, what an odd choice of words. I also like him running through an open danger area. That's always fun.
It's true. The premise is sound. We shall see.
Execution. Like this. Something that we can do to put a loadout through a mental crucible to determine.
All right. You mentioned linear danger areas. All right, we're gonna a little more All right. I was never in the Marine Corps, but I have heard of Coco. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get through this without embarrassing myself too much. Key terrain. Let's see. Key terrain. Access? No, that's from Sweat MC. Key terrain. What I'm thinking about is high-speed avenues of approach.
Mm-hmm.
And while the mode part beside a fence is not high speed, it is an avenue of approach. And it's also a natural line of drift to go right along a fence. So
you're talking about observation, fields of fire, covering concealment, obstacles, key or decisive terrain, and avenues of approach.
thank you. I knew the Marine would get it for me.
Okay. I mean, I had to look it up to be completely fair.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel a little better. This was something that S2 Underground did a good job, and of course, Rush Beater covers it in his classes. But yeah, it's like this is how you break down your environment. Some of these things are intuitively understandable. We all understand that, like, get on the unless it's blocked or otherwise like rush hour traffic. Generally speaking, you're gonna get where you're going faster taking the interstate than surface streets, right? That is a high speed avenue of approach. Problem is that channelizes you and you're very predictable to where there's only so many places you can go. There's only so much space you can physically be in when you're on an interstate, right? Only so many on and off ramps, and that's part and parcel of that high speed avenue approach. So, as Scout also likes to say, in multiple areas of your life, your first avenue of approach is also like your path of least resistance is where the enemy's kind of come at you first, because that's where you're likely to be. This is why if you're out in the woods, you don't do a remain overnight along lines of drift, because that's where the people are going to be. You go find the most uncomfortable, like most inconvenient place to get into if you're going to sleep, right? So I don't think a lot of thought was put into like what okay, so when you're going to film like this though, things only show up well if you're using relatively open space. So okay, but it does raise the point, like, let's kind of point at this, like this fence line is exactly the place you do not want to be. I mean, if you're that concerned where you're carrying a rifle and you're wearing a chest rig and you have tactical hearing protection on anyway, a headset for your radio on, with one to talk to, I don't know. But if you're doing all these things, then you probably should be staying away from danger areas, which avenues of approach and lines of drift are a part of that. That's just my thing I wanted to point out on that. Any thoughts on that?
No, I think that pretty well covers it.
Little teaching point there.
If we have what we think we really need. The way we do this is by creating mock situations. So today, Drew is going to give me a situation and a mission along with some parameters, and I have to build a loadout specifically for that task in a given timeline.
All right, you pointed this out the other night. And again, goes back to when you're filming, you want things to be visible and you want people to be able to see you. So I'm not gonna hate on them too hard, but this is a great example of skylining yourself. And even though doesn't look like he's right on a military crest, he's not right on the crest, even if he's on the military crest, a little bit below that, the very top of that crest. His cameraman is downhill from him. So what they want to have happen is working beautifully. You can see him fantastic. He's silhouetted beautifully against the sky because that cameraman is lower down than he is and looking up. So whenever you're not at the bottom of whatever topographical feature you're in, if you're not at the bottom of the draw, the valley, whatever, there's certain drawbacks to that too. But just keeping in mind that anybody below you, it's a lot easier to skyline yourself where you're silhouetted against the sky to anyone below you. So usually that means you're going to find some kind of compromise. Like if you're on a slope, you're going to be somewhere not at the top, not at the bottom. You're going to find some little sweet spot terrain dependent, that's where you want to travel to minimize risk of being seen or otherwise detected. But just want to point that out because you made.
Then we break it down.
What's that?
You made that point last time.
Yes, I did.
I had missed it.
Yeah, it definitely, at least in the earlier shot, it definitely appears like he is ridgelining the crap out of himself.
And we judge my ability to pull tools together as a team and assess how that situation would have gone. Now, you guys will also have ideas and scenarios.
All right. They're putting a lot in this intro. So flashlight for a near recognition symbol in the daylight. It's for white light. I mean, it's not as bad as again, this is assuming a tactical environment because he's got a rifle and all this stuff, right? I didn't set the conditions, but if he's got all this stuff, then okay, we assume a tactical environment. By that I mean people are hunting you potentially. So white light in the daytime, not the best, also not the worst. The important thing here is he shines that flashlight 3 times. Later we'll learn that the near recognition is or the challenge and pass is the sum is a sum number, and that sum is 6. So how that would work for anyone, it's one way to do a challenge and pass, and that is just one person calls out one number and the other person calls out the other number that adds up to a pre-agreed upon number. So if it's 7 and he just shined 3, he would expect 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. The problem with what they chose as for 6 is when he shines 3, if someone just mimics that back at him, it's like, oh, someone just flashed me 3 times with the flashlight. I'm just going to flash them with the 3 times with the flashlight and see what happens. Now you've had your security compromised by someone happens to like. It's not very good security from the standpoint of near recognition symbol. So
yeah, absolutely.
And tools and equipment that you would have brought all on your own. And we want some of that feedback as well, because the goal in this mind game is for all of us to be better.
Here's your scenario. 30 days ago, the financial system in this country collapsed. A week ago, all goods coming in and out of our small community was completely cut off. Since then, good people have resorted to doing bad things for their family. Bad people have been committing violence since the start. You have emergency supplies on hand, but they won't last forever, and there's no telling when order will be restored to the area.
John Deere down, John Deere down. 1 flat tire, mile marker 3, bring 6 friends ASAP.
The message you just heard over the radio came from a neighbor that lives 1 mile from you. It has a hidden meaning that breaks down to this. I've shot a deer, I'm hurt, location is tree stand number 3, challenge pass is 6. You know.
So, anybody that's spent any time doing anything or has taken the right classes, why is he not writing any of this down? Like, if you are getting like a SMEAC or a 5-paragraph order, which is basically what like a version, a very loose version, but a version nonetheless of a 5-paragraph order is basically what this guy's getting. Situation, what's going on, the mission, all those other little things.
Yeah, and when we talk about it's 5-paragraph order, it's closer to like what you would find in like the long range reconnaissance handbook, not really formal op order.
Yeah, no, this isn't like there was no like 5-day MDMP process for a battalion size element moving through. This is like a very like, hey, this is our squad's like mission, and this is the quick down and dirty. Kind of similar to what you'll get experience with if you take the scout course of the recce, is kind of doing a quick 5-paragraph order.
You and I know from our working experience, if you don't write things down, and like Madman has said this about signals intelligence as well, if you don't write it down, you're not going to remember it. You may think you will.
Yep.
Even shortly thereafter, you try to like, what was that? And you either can't recall the details or you've completely forgotten that it was even a thing.
Yep.
Like you really don't remember as well as you think you do. So
yeah,
writing things down Yeah, having a notepad on you. That was something my grandfather always did. He was a World War II vet. Always had a spiral bound notebook on him. And he's not the only one who's got some real world experience that always has something to write, something to write on.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should just kind of have that stuff in general, but especially if you're getting briefed on something you're about to go have to do. So the general situation is like, it's, if you didn't hear, 30 days, there was some sort of economic collapse. A week ago, their local supply system ran out of food. And then, so they got a neighbor, he shot a deer, he fell out of a tree stand, or he's hurt. We don't really know. It doesn't really go into it. Location is deer stand number 3, and then the challenge and pass. Why that's being pushed out, I mean, I understand like they're using a brevity matrix to do this, but even still, like, you don't push out your challenge and pass over the radio, even if it is like through a brevity matrix. That's just kind of like, these things should be pre-established. And like, if it's that serious, like, why is that just like, medical calls don't get pushed out over like super duper crypto. Like, generally medevac calls get pushed out over the clear.
Yeah, this is something, I mean, Scout talks about for
Yeah.
comms. NC Scout talks about sustainment, tactical, and covert communication.
Yeah.
Right? Medical calls are sustainment level, the traffic. The only reason I could think of, I mean, I know why they're doing it. It's to add to the, it's kind of like the pumpy music. It's to kind of get you. It's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
The only reason I can think of legitimately why you would encrypt your location and what's going on is if you're poaching on somebody else's land.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he's a farmer. He's got like, he probably has his own land, right? What? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. This is just, yeah, but that's the biggest takeaway is, why is he not, and Sky Pirate Actual hits on this. Why is he not taking notes?
Yeah.
You always write this stuff down.
Sky Pirate Actual's video is very good. It's like, it's long, but it's good. You can tell like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just reiterate everything he talked about, but one of the things, I can't remember where exactly we are in this video, but what the briefer is about to say is, you have 15 minutes to prep your gear, make a plan, make a decision, and go. Now, there are several problems with that, and I'm just getting into this now because I don't want to stop and start the video again. So making a plan is not anything but your first step. Like, you should be devising a plan, even if you make the decision based on the planning. All right, you start looking at your planning process and you realize, I don't have what I need to go. Okay, well, that's a decision to not go, right? Or to do something else. But the foregone conclusion is that you're going to go, which isn't really a decision. What's that? Yeah. So making a plan should be step 1, because the plan, as he pointed out in the very intros, like, we buy all this gear and then we try to make it work for something, right? Well, how you fix that is by focusing on learning how to plan properly, and then figuring out what you're pulling your gear to fit your plan, not trying to say, oh, I'd like to bring this, and we've got all this cool gear. Let me see if I can find a reason to bring it, right? So making a plan, your first priority is make a plan, and then understand how you plan, and which is not something that's within the purview of this video. Like Mechmedic mentioned, a SMEAC, a brief op order, those kinds of things, just as far as like situation, theirs and ours, the mission or the commander's intent, the enemy situation. Sorry, I'm losing track of how all that works. I don't have it off the top of my head, but there are ways to go through this planning process, and we're not talking about any of them. They're not talking about any of them on this video, but the basic lesson here is plan first, gear later.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just
it's, man, it's so problematic. And we'll get into this as we get into the video, but I've got lots of thoughts on this. Obviously, because we're making a video.
Yeah,
This farmer is an avid
planning is a hard skill, and it doesn't lend itself to cool videos. So
Yeah.
hunter. His home is 5 miles by road or 1 mile by foot. He's about 70 years old.
So just off the bat right now, I don't care if it's 5 times longer by vehicle than it is by foot. I'm not dragging somebody a mile. That's not fun. For clarification, he's in like Eastern Tennessee. So he's in the Appalachian Mountain Range. Yeah, no, fuck that. I'm not dragging somebody a mile.
But going a mile on foot is probably going to be slower than 5 miles of a vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, let's do the math. Let's say if this guy jogs with his full kit, he'll be there in 10 minutes. If he drives 30 miles an hour, he'll be there in 10 minutes. Just on average, right? Let's say country and you're driving about 30 miles an hour. But in that case, you're there in 10 minutes and you have your vehicle. So
there's another option to this. There's several others.
Yeah, there's a number of other options. There's this guy's a farmer. There's go to his place and see what vehicles he has.
Yeah.
But also it's like, you can bring all kinds of stuff with you if you're bringing a vehicle.
Yep.
There's all kinds of options that you have for bringing your gear. Size and weight constraints, use a nut and fancyism.
Yeah.
Are very different than when you're having to pack it all.
Yep. Man, it's just
and that's another thing that's not discussed at all is, do I go by road or do I go by foot?
He just makes the decision.
It's not really thought through. Anyway.
Yeah, because I can tell you right now, just from like my brain, like thinking through, like, okay, this guy's hurt. He probably fell out of, like, most likely, like he fell out of the tree stand. So with this guy being, I don't want to say elderly, but at the very least geriatric, like he probably broke something. I don't want to drag him a mile if he's broken something when I could just put him in a vehicle.
Or even back to his own house, assuming he's not poaching on somebody else's property.
Yeah. like wherever I'm dragging him, I don't want to drag him by hand or with a litter. Like I don't like Skedco drags are like, they're a thing. You can do them. I have done them in the past. They're miserable. They're not fun. They're not a great time.
If he's a farmer, he's got and his tractor still has fuel. It's got a bucket on the front. You might rolling the old boy into the bucket and moving
that could be an option. But I mean, we don't really know what equipment he could have just walked out. He could have ridden one of those stupid electric bikes that all the hunting shows want to sell you.
Okay, I'm not even familiar with that. But let's say
daytime hunting TV is a nightmare.
So let's say maybe if he had a vehicle, was probably maybe more old school, either a quad or a side by side, maybe.
Yeah. The easiest option to know what you have for an evac platform is to bring your own evac platform.
Yep.
Because then you know 100% what you have and the capabilities you have. It answers that question.
There is also the situation that if this is someone that you know well enough to have brevity codes with, you probably know his habits, and you probably know the equipment he has on hand. You know whether he's likely to have taken his quad out to his tree stand or not.
This is true.
It's like there's quite a bit that you can, if you know someone to that kind of level, you should be able to reasonably infer, or else give them a stern talking to and you find out they went totally. But or know that they have such a thing stashed at their house that you can go pick up. The mile in between your homes, is this Tennessee? And the video shows that it's reasonably flat and level, and you could ride a bike and wear a backpack and put a significant amount of time off your foot trek. Do you have a 4-wheeler you could take over? Is this the Great Basin where there's canals out the wazoo and it's basically a paved road for you that no one's gonna see it in if the canals are dry?
Time. The other thing I just thought about with the on foot versus a vehicle, if you're rolling, so All right, this is a gentleman, this farmer, he's sending encrypted traffic via brevity matrix and pro words. Maybe not a brevity matrix, but he's sending pro words.
Yeah.
Which if you don't know what those are, get the Gorilla's Guide to the Balpang Radio. And okay, so he's somewhat in the game, right? Okay, he at least has some training. Maybe if he's got family, they've also had some training. Point being, if you walk onto his property from a distance away, you might get yourself shot by his family.
Yep.
Because now they just see an armed man on their property.
Yep.
If you roll up on if you roll down the driveway in your truck that they recognize,
Yep.
that is a form of near recognition. It's
Is.
common sense, fifth principle of patrolling, guys. Common sense.
Yep.
You just come over to a neighborly call, and you're that they already know.
That's kind of the thing that I think gets missed out on is like this is just an economic collapse. Like there is no talk of like invasion. This is obviously fairly rural. Like bad actors are doing bad things. Okay, this is rural. Like I'm concerned about it, but like there's really no mention of like what the enemy consideration is in the immediate area.
You'd have to tell me there were roadblocks for me to
if there's vehicle. At the risk of just making assumptions, if you don't say that there's something as a concern, it's not a concern. Because if it was a concern, you would have brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't say anything about there being like roving bands of marauders just ransacking houses in this rural area. Okay, so I'm just gonna hop in my truck and like,
or even like maybe like okay, the local Sam John Brown's gun club has set up a roadblock between there, and they're like only letting people through that they know or like or whatever, or shaking down or whatever. It's like there's, again, we're assuming a competent briefer. Weather would have been nice in this brief, but anyway, it
would have.
May in rural Tennessee. About
how long has it been since this guy got injured? That's another, like, that's what I'm curious about.
I really would like some scope of what the injury is.
I mean, like a missed report? Oh, that'd be handy.
Well, I think Sky Pirate Actual just talks about ambulatory or non-ambulatory.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
I mean, yeah. So the other thing is, that the time since the injury, we did figure out from glancing at his watch later in the video, it's about 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
or it's around that time. So it's early afternoon. May in Tennessee, looks like it's a nice day. So weather's actually pretty nice. That's a consideration.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
But needs your help. You have a wife and newborn at home. You have 15 minutes to prep your gear, a plan, make a decision, and go. You ready?
I guess so.
Let's go.
Great.
Do I please get to do my spiel about the
Yes.
Koala bear, go.
Yes. I heard about this, and I'm excited to hear
it. Okay. I have words. I'm assuming if you are giving me information, it is for a reason. If you have a wife and newborn at home, I'm going to be very clinical and assume that by newborn you mean sub 28 days old, like the medical definition of a newborn. That means this kid was born after things went south in the country. So I've got two things going with this. First of all, if this child was born after things went south in the country, what level of medical care did mom have at this point? Like, was this everything was still hunky-dory enough that she delivered at the local hospital, had a normal vaginal delivery, and baby went home at day 2 of life and everything is fantastic? Or was this for whatever reason, this family has said, oh my goodness, we can't risk being involved with modern medicine because like somebody's going to turn us in, we're on the wrong, we're undesirable in some way, shape, or form. Was this a first-time mother delivering at home by herself with no extra care? Probably would have had a 3rd or 4th degree laceration, not repaired properly. Is she capable of being left by herself?
Yeah.
Is she by herself? Did you have family that was going to be there to help with the new baby and they got stuck with you? Do you have spare hands you could recruit from that? That. There's so many questions I have with this, but it's like, that's a lot of valuable information. But number one, starting with, can you leave your wife alone for several hours, potentially overnight? So
yeah, that's a big, and we brought this up at the class when Scout was there, and he kind of just nailed it. Like, if it's just you by yourself and you get this, like, and I agree 100%. Like, if I don't know my neighbors, if I don't know any, which is a problem if that is your situation, if I don't have, like, if I have no way to ensure that, like, my family is taken care of, or I have other people I can go send to just simply just grab this guy and bring him to me so I can do an initial evaluation and, like, an initial assessment. I'm sorry, man. I really hate to, like, say it like this, but, like, you had a good run. I've got a wife and kids, plural, like, at home. Like, I don't have the capability to go out and get you. I have higher priorities that I have to be concerned about.
Yeah, we were literally just like giving him the rundown on this scenario. He's like, "Well, man, had a good run. You're 7 years old. You had a good run. I got a wife and little children at home." It's like, no, they get priority. Yep. It was like hardly a pause. He's like, "Well, you had a good run."
Yeah,
it's like, damn.
It's realistic, and that's the thing that people don't. And we talked about this in class. A lot of people are going to die, and that's like all these people that and I think truly an apt word is, like, worship the idea that this is going to happen. Like, things are going to go crazy, and they get to be the hero in their own story, and they don't have to be some loser that works some dead end job, that they can be some movie hero in some sort of fantasy. Like, no, a lot of people are going to die. 30 days into some sort of economic collapse and a week of no supplies, like, there are people that have, like, life sustaining medications that if they don't have, they die. Like, dialysis treatments, all sorts of other different medications. Like, how many people actually have, like, realistically, not just people that, like, watch these videos and interact in these spaces, but outside of that, regular everyday people that are struggling paycheck to paycheck, below, at or below the poverty line? How many of them have food to last more than 3 days in their houses?
Or any kind of alternate means of keeping your house if the power goes out.
Exactly. Or any stock up of anything.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there are places I go for work regularly that are pretty bad, pretty miserable now under good conditions. And there are a lot of people that I see every day. Well, not a lot. I won't say a lot, but there's a substantial number of people that I see every day that are, like you say, they're just getting by.
Mm-hmm.
Day to day now, or week to week, month, now. This is why it's like, I know this is a much bigger discussion, and I know that there are a lot of issues politically in the country, and I understand there's a lot of frustration, but people that really push for some sort of domestic conflict, or okay, that's a complicated conversation, but you need to understand and really grok the level of pain and suffering that happens with a systemic breakdown in the case of any kind of just a serious disruption. I mean, COVID was bad. The COVID response was bad enough.
Yep.
And that was without anybody shooting anybody else.
Mostly. Yeah. A lot of people are going to die, and I don't think people can really, like, fathom. And it's easy for people on the internet to be like, well, that's a good thing. Shut up. Shut up. Like, that is, human beings dying is terrible, horrible. Like, I mean, that is not something we should wish on anyone.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the king, if you're the crown of Great Britain, you can say stuff like that. Well, actually, he can't now that he's the king. He can't say stuff. If you're the crown prince, you can say stuff like that, but even when once you're the king, you can't say stuff like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, we're So
Yeah.
Koala Bear made some really good points as far as like, yeah, if you give me information, I'm going to assume that it means something and I'm going to take it literally for what you're saying. And yeah, the reality of all this may be, where this is a 2-minute video that they've done so far. And it's like, yeah. And we sent flowers,
Yep. Man, it's
we checked in
good
on his
Lord.
widow later. We checked on his widow and made sure she was taken care of.
It's like, guys, I wasn't meaning to send you down the completely morbid
But
what are your assets and liabilities is more what I'm going
Yep.
with in this case.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you say a newborn at home, what does that mean, and what are the second and third order elements of that, right?
Yep.
Because you mentioned like second order effect of newborn at home delivery, and potential for not properly stitched laceration cared for how functionally. So that's a second order effect. Third order effect is, do you have family members in town for the baby that now you can use them as extra hands, right? That's like third order kind of thing. So all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm working with limited time here, but if I know where I'm going and as long as it's saved in the GPS, I definitely...
He's assuming he's got this pre-saved in his GPS.
If he knows where he's going, why does he need a GPS?
Yes.
need that. Let's find out what gun I'm taking. So...
What? This is so there's no plan. We have no plan. Nothing. First option. Let me go to my digital Liberty safe. What gun am I taking?
It is a Liberty. That didn't age well.
What gun am I taking? What gun are you taking? Hop in your truck, throw a litter in the back, and let's go, dude. Like,
I mean, man, home front scenarios, the talking bandana. He makes a joke about this, right? When he goes through his gear, when he goes through his gear loadouts, he makes a joke about talking about the guns because everybody wants to see the guns first. It's like these guys do it straight faced, and it's
like just
hilarious.
Completely serious. What gun am I gonna go? What? What gun? Oh my!
I'm sorry. I can't not laugh at you when you do this.
It's bad. All right, let's see how much worse it gets.
Not a serious person. Okay.
This is kind of my standard go-to, this LMT, which is an awesome build, but it's a little bit compact. It's kind of heavy for what I'm doing. I'm also...
The compact build is heavy.
I don't follow.
Why is your compact build heavy? Stop building small, heavy guns. But it's going to get worse.
I'm not going to be trying to shoot it out on all of my, I don't know, walking and trying to figure out what's going...
Shoot it out with who? There was no enemy situation.
No, but hey,
there was nothing.
He said it right. I don't know.
Right there.
He summarized the entire situation.
The whole video. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm doing. That's this right here. This pause. We just need to put in text. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the whole video. I've just saved you 17 minutes of your life.
Okay.
That you're never going to get back.
I'm really trying to be nice. Okay.
Going on with my neighbor, so let's make sure that I have it's loaded.
You don't know if the magazine stored outside your safe is loaded, so you just have piles of magazines and you don't know what status they're in.
In fairness, that is a double checking what you think you know.
Both are true.
Yeah.
You should
fair.
So I can't remember if it was Pat McNamara or Gabe Suarez was talking about the firearm safety rules, and it's like whoever it was that said this, as far as like not assume your gun was loaded, like know the status of your gun.
Yeah.
The real rule is not assume your gun is loaded or treat every gun as if it's loaded. Like know the status.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a GPS, I have a rifle with an LPVO, Criterion 14.5, Huxworks can, fairly simple and lightweight up on the front, Tango 6T, Delta Point Pro mounted on top. If you're looking for accessories like this, Shooting Surplus is one of the sponsors of this video, and they carry a lot of accessories that go along with tools like this. If you're
And that's the whole reason for this video.
That is the whole reason for this video.
Use our discount code in the comment section below.
As soon as I realized that most everything that he talks about in this video is available through their sponsors,
yep,
I understood the purpose of this video.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
absolutely.
that made everything very clear to me. I was like, okay, oh, got it. Okay, cool. Okay.
Let's not even talk about the flag being hung on the wall in the incorrect orientation. Although I will say it is not technically. Well, it is an American flag, but American flags are supposed to be hung against walls vertically, not horizontally.
With the field to the left.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But that's just a flag code autism moment. But yeah, so we're 50 seconds into this. No plan has been established whatsoever.
We have
a gun, a magazine, and a GPS,
and a whole bunch of accessories named. I'm gonna get a dustpan for picking up all these names he dropped.
And absolutely no medical equipment. We'll just continue.
Curious. So let's throw that on there and get that out of the way. I at least have a rifle prepped. I'm gonna need. I want boots. So
he's not. You're 30 days into a collapse situation and you're running around in tennis shoes. I mean, this is the 13 hours. You're gonna fight the holy war in shorts. Like
one of the best lines from that movie.
Like
old move.
Like you're 30 days into this and you're not ready to go.
Like, I'm gonna show my age. Like this is the Zoomer generation. It's all about the vibe. They're gonna. I mean,
that's fair for some, but I know quite a few Zoomers that like are very squared away and like actually give a shit. And
no, that's true. I do too. Like, too. That's not fair. That's not fair to Zoomers, but this is we're going for the fashionable corpse look.
Oh yeah, this is true. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
No, it didn't say an animate corpse, just fashionable. You know, fashionably with his fashionable shoe footwear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or yeah. Speaking of zombie movies, though, when you eventually forgets to put his boots on, do you remember from World War Z where the virologist gets handed a Glock? Panics, runs up the plane, up the ramp, back up to the up into the aircraft, slips on the way and caps himself.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that happened there, but
yeah,
poor choice of footwear was one of them.
Yep. Let's continue.
These are Kentrek hard scrabble boots. They have recently been waxed up. You do have to keep wax on leather boots like that, so something to keep in mind.
Don't keep the boots on your feet. Keep wax on the boots, but not the boots on your feet.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I'm lying. I lied. I lied. I'm not trying to be nice.
Oh, it's also painful.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I'm going to take a sleeping system because I'm probably not going to be gone very long. Oh, for that matter, I'm going to want to tell my wife. So if I have a wife and a newborn at home, I need to tell her comms. So I'll have a radio with me. While I'm here, I'll grab this.
She doesn't already have a radio?
She doesn't already have a rifle?
Yeah.
She doesn't already have a rifle. She doesn't already have a radio.
Yeah.
And also, why aren't you reading her in on this now?
Right.
Getting her input and or having her call all the other bubbas while you're prepping your gear and eventually getting around to making a plan.
15 walk minutes can double in human minutes.
Yeah. Look, man, like
man hours. Oh.
Let's learn from flight school. Cockpit resource management. If you got somebody else in the cockpit with you, you can fly the airplane and they can finger fumble the map.
Mm-hmm.
Or write notes like, here, write this down. Okay, turn the dial on the radio, whatever, like anything that you can unload off your task stacking.
Yep.
Aside from fly the aircraft.
Yep.
Unload that on anybody else in the cockpit that in the compartment in the aircraft. Heck, even on if you're on the radio with somebody, unload that on air traffic control or somebody else. Like you want to minimize your task stack as much as possible. Not because task switching is a skill. It's a perishable skill, and it's hard to do under stress.
Yeah. I mean, even just as simply as telling her to activate like a phone tree or some sort of like some variant, because 30 days in, there's probably cell towers are down. But just like activate, like, because there's probably people on radio watch, like have them go ring up like whatever you want to call your version of like a response force, like dudes that are just standing by ready to go. Like everyone wants to use the Minuteman word. Let's go ahead and activate the fucking Minuteman.
Yeah, because I have a hard time believing you have a farmer who's using pro words.
Yeah.
And you don't have more than just like this one
young. Yep. Yeah. So now we're a minute and a half in, still no medical equipment. Just keep that in mind. Minute and a half in, still no medical equipment.
Make sure that she has some way to communicate with me, and I have a way to communicate with her. So I'll make sure that we're on the same frequency and tell her what's going on. So she's gonna need a radio, and then as well as a rifle. I'll probably give her my primary gun, and she can use that if need be. So
once again, she doesn't have one already. Like if this is such a big concern that we're grabbing a fully loaded chest rig, when all you need to do, like, okay, sure, take a rifle. Yep. Okay. I'll give you that one. Throw it in the passenger seat of your truck with like a fucking bandolier and go. Like if that's your just in case. I want to have something just in case.
Throw a spare 30-round magazine in your back pocket of your jeans.
What? Those skinny jeans don't have enough room for an extra spare mag.
Why? Who in their right mind?
Don't wear girls' jeans. Step one: don't wear girls' jeans. That's true. But other thing, and this is being pedantic, I realize. He talks about being on the same frequency. All right, good. So good as far as you went, but you really need to have. And it's, again, go read the Gorilla's Guide to the Baofeng Radio. I have no financial interest in that. trying to do you a favor. Go read that, and you will learn about a signals operating instruction. It's not the only place you can learn about it, but it's probably the most digestible.
Yep.
And there you're going to learn about primary frequency, alternate frequency, contingency frequency, and a non-electronic emergency communication, like something that like a flare, something that's basically contingency and the emergency part of that, or just come get me. This is not going well.
Yeah.
So anyway, but a frequency being on the same frequency, good start, but you need to have more than that, because let's say you're a rural environment, and for maintaining signals, like communication security, you've stayed on UHF band to limit your exposure, reduce your profile, and then you need her to be able to reach out. So now suddenly your UHF band frequency isn't working well in the rural terrain. Do you have a VHF alternate that works better in rural terrain? Does she go to that VHF alternate? Et cetera and so forth.
Yep. All right.
Also, nobody said that the communications networks are down. Nobody said the cell phones don't work anymore.
This is true.
And in 30 days, with just an economic collapse, they shouldn't be down.
I mean, I don't know that I think radio is probably better as a prime. Just maybe text message might still work to get through. I don't know. I'm not gonna hang my hat on that one.
All right.
The chest rig, let's set this down real quick. We'll get back to that. The chest rig, what do I have in here? This tends to stay loaded out as is. In the front here, I have something to write on, something to write with.
Where was that 2 minutes ago? Where the fuck was that 2 minutes ago?
You beat me to it.
It's gonna get worse, guys. Just wait.
as well as a compass. The guts in here, there's a ton of stuff in here, but a lot of general tools that I can use. So I have super glue if I get a cut, emergency ear pro, fire, electrical tape, a little bit of gun lube. If
he apparently has managed to find the only small bottle of gun lube that doesn't slowly leak over the rest of the contents in the bag that it's being stored in.
Available now at American Dream.
Yeah, because I have yet to find one that does not leak into the rest of the contents of your bag. Also, I'd like to know how these things, like, so your chest rig, your fighting load, what does this have to do with fighting? Just like when Scout said, like, somebody told him they had snares in their chest rig. Like, brother, what you doing there, bud?
That's, if anything, that's sustainment. That's either like, that's like a third line item.
I'm not, if I'm going out to go like do things with a rifle, I'm not putting up snares.
Yeah, but even just the stuff he has in there, it's sustainment stuff.
Yeah.
It's need to be in your pockets, which means you need to wear proper pants, actual pockets, like lighters, tape. I mean, man, I carry a lighter in my pocket every day.
Yep.
I don't smoke. Except for cigars at the Jeep camp. That's the only time I smoke. I just carry a lighter because, I went to a BIC appreciation class. I mean, it was labeled as primitive fire starting, but it's BIC appreciation. Okay. It's like, this is hard. Both skills are difficult to work with.
Yep. Yeah. That's fire. I always chuckle when you see guys show videos of their like outdoor survival kit, and it's like, yeah, I've got this to make a bow drill and like this to do a friction. It's like, I've just got 4 Bics, dude. What if your Bic fails? I have 3 more.
Yeah.
Like, I have Bics on
or
Bics.
There's ferro rods, there's other things, but I'm just
it's 2023.
You're not wrong to have a second Bic on you, but it probably shouldn't be in your fighting load. Fighting.
I have one right here.
Fighting load. There should be
Bic.
Water and ammo. Smoke grenades if the AFT allows you to have them. For, gender reveal parties and stuff. Anyway.
Yes.
Moving on.
Oh, God.
Need be water purification tabs, things like that. So that goes into the chest rig. I also have some extra batteries. On body, I do have water, as well as another little can of iodine tablets if need be. Yeah, we're moving right along. Tourniquet, multi-tool in here, red headlamp. And then, again, with the mindset that I'm going to be going out and trying to help someone with medical, I want to make sure that I grab medical. I'm not trying to fight a whole ton of people. If anything, I'm probably going to try to just get in, get out, and not be gone very long. So with that in mind, speed is going to be my security. I'm also alone, so I don't know.
Why is he alone? Why are you going alone? Take dudes, more dudes. That's what you need.
You say speed is going to be your security, but you're going to walk. You can't, like, that's a technical term. You can't just say things because you heard it once.
Yeah.
Speed, surprise, violence of action, right? We're all familiar with the buzzwords and the, I can say it too, right? Yeah, cool. But this is not speedy. None of this that you're doing is speedy, and you're not setting yourself up to be speedy. You can't just, well, you can. You can't, if you want to be taken seriously, you can't just throw out technical terms and buzzwords.
Yeah.
Outside of context and then not do the actual meaning of those things.
Yep.
Anyway. I don't hate that he's got water in his chest rig though.
No, I'm not opposed to that.
Trying to decide. I'm gonna ditch 2 of these mags. I don't need to carry all of this extra weight, and there's a ton of ammo in my backpack. So let's grab that as well. This is another item that stays loaded for me. Let's set this down for a minute. And that goes with that. Okay, so this is a pack that stays loaded for me. I have a bunch of tools like a Gerber entry tool. Oh gosh, let's see if I can get this out. It's gets snapped in there pretty tight, which is good. So,
how long are you planning on this taking? We are 4.5 minutes in. There's still no medical equipment.
How many doors are you planning to Halligan tool breach with?
Right? Like
out in the woods.
I don't understand. Like what?
I mean, I don't. It's a cool tool. I like it, but you could have just told me, yeah, a Gerber breach, left it in the pack, and I can look that up. I was like, oh yeah, cool, okay, move on.
One thing I want to hit on real quick is like on the planning aspect, because again, we're 4.5 or 3.5 minutes in, and we still have not done an ounce of planning.
Well,
so
he
kind of
started
kind of
he kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean. He started a plan and then
kind of
left it.
Yeah. Why do you have to set up a plan? Why is this not something that was like pre-planned, like a pre-prepared response? Like, oh hey, since we had the forethought to have buzzwords, radio pro words to push out for this, why did we not also take the time? Hey, when we hear this, like everyone meets at like this location, or like everyone just like coalesces at the response area and we just go from there.
Yeah, not everybody. Yeah, you're not wrong. And you
Like,
with your background are going to have specifically put together bags, and I with my background have less comprehensive and less well thought out. That I'm working on it. But all right, we understand the purpose of this video is to sell gear. Okay. But again, like my bigger issue is, again, going back to the planning, because I know we're just like broken record on this.
yes.
But here's the other thing with plans. If you look at when the military starts a planning phase, if you have X amount of time, in this case 15 minutes, you should take you would typically take I'm going to butcher this, but a third of the time for your planning, and then you push that down to your next lower level. They take a third of that time for planning, and then they push it down to their next level, lower level, right? So that everybody has time to plan for everybody else that you're trying to work with.
Yeah.
Not to say that the other people you're trying to get involved are lower level, but you need to figure out what your plan is so that you can then propagate that to them so they can make their plans, right?
Yep.
You're taking the initiative, you're taking charge, you're going to be telling them they don't need to necessarily have as detailed a plan, but you need to be thinking about not only like what you have, what gun cleaning equipment you have in your chest rig, you need to be thinking about what you need to tell them to bring. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
going up with, and how much time do they have to work with? But again, this is prep your kit, then make a plan. And
yeah,
with that.
And it's when you have like pre-planned responses to things. I mean, just as simply as like, and that's what a battle drill is.
Yeah,
like the whole like respond to an ambush. It's a pre-planned, pre-practiced response.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when you go to do it for real, it's not the first time you've done it. So like there is no, not there is no, but so like we're simplifying that pass down of planning, because like the planning is, oh, hey, this guy pushed these pro words over the radio. We are enacting this response plan. It's the planning's already been done. All you have to do is like plug in a few specific details into like your plan and hit go. And then you push that down to the rest of your group. Like, hey, we are enacting this plan based on this situation. So that way they know like what to do.
So let's think about this for a second before we go back onto the Gerber appreciation moment there. All right. If I'm getting this, I'm here's the basics of my task. I need to go to this location, assess this individual. Depending on the situation there, I need to make some sort of intervention. I either need to be able to do an intervention on the spot to fix whatever the problem is, or at least mitigate that problem, assuming I'm gone. Either put my intervention in place on the spot and then relocate him, or if that's all he needs, like he needs a shoulder put in or whatever, okay, then we either move in, or it's an intervention I cannot do at the time. We need to move him and then do the intervention, or some combination of the two. So what do I need? I need appropriate interventions. I need a way to make sure I can relocate him. I need to make sure that if this takes a prolonged period, I need to make sure that his casualty status does not deteriorate, such as him getting hypothermic, which comes into play later. So there's just a few core things I need some basic interventions. So for life threats, I need to be and possibly some function threat, like splinting tools or things like that. And if he can't move, then I need a way to move him. And keep his condition from continuing to deteriorate, particularly through heat loss, dehydration and heat loss. Those are probably our biggest. Those are two our biggest, our biggest life and function threats within this time frame. That's all I need to do. Like those are the core things I need to do. As far as maintaining, as far as recon control, security and planning. Well, we're kind of doing planning now. But recon, security, control, I need control. I need comms with home base and with my other teammates, and with him. I need reconnaissance. I need to not overdrive my headlights. If I can get any kind of information on what I'm going into, great. Otherwise, I might bring a little bit of glass. I might bring some binoculars or a monocular with me, just so as I get into that. So as I either if I come up in a danger area or I get in close to where my working environment's going to be, I can just anything that looks a little fishy, I can get a little better magnification, right? So I'm not walking in blind or near blind. So, and then security is whatever security I can provide, even if it's just me, whatever security I can provide, with either just the handgun that we find out later he's got on him, which is low profile, reduces your overall signature. Or you can go more overt with the long gun and the chest rig, which is what he elects to do. But either way, you've addressed that security. Like, okay, that's cool. Those are our core planning things. That's maybe taken me a couple minutes to talk through, right? And it takes a lot less time to think through it and just kind of, these are the things I need to do. I think common sense could get you through this process a lot faster than even that.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at
through this backpack.
I can dig with this, I can pry with this, I can cut with it, that stays on the outside. On the opposite side, I have a Gerber E-tool. You guys know what E-tools look like?
So he has two things that he can dig with and chop with, because you can chop with an E-tool, not effectively, but you can do it.
Well, he has two products, and he's realizing he's running out of time showing.
Yeah. This is just, how long is he planning this going and getting the dude to take? Like, this is ridiculous, but that's later.
Like in the top here, medical.
Finally 3 minutes and 45 seconds in to his 15-minute countdown. Finally, we are covering medical. But guess what? It's not medical for the other dude. It's medical for him because it's another IFAC.
I want to shave weight as best as possible because I want to move fast, but he said that he's hurt. I don't know what hurt means, so I'm going to keep all of...
Man, if only there was this cool report format that like could tell you like mechanism of injury, injuries sustained, signs and symptoms, and treatments. That'd be crazy if we had something that could tell us all that. And you could like push it out over the radio. That'd be really cool.
It would really clear up a lot of the mist of
wow, yeah, it would.
Going on here.
Yeah.
All of my medical equipment with me, and I do have a handful of different stuff in here, from multiple tourniquets to...
Oh my, how did I miss this the first time we looked through this?
There aren't tampons in there, are there?
No, there's a rat's.
Oh, there is.
There's a rat's tourniquet. Oh my God.
That's special.
There's a rat's tourniquet in there. Oh my Lord. Is that a...
Hey, he can garrote the old man and put him out of his suffering.
Okay, well,
I'm trying to
Sorry,
figure
a
out,
little
is
too
that,
dark.
is that a saline lock kit? Or is that an ETD? Is that a trauma dressing?
I can't tell from here.
Oh my lord.
was
But there's
trying
a
to-
rat's tourniquet in here. This is
I had missed that.
great. Yeah, I missed it too.
He's got okay, so I'll give but I'll give him credit on one thing. Okay, he has a second cat tourniquet in there,
Mhm.
and two cat tourniquets rather than like one soft T and then one cat. As we talked about in class, two cat tourniquets and that little water bottle he's got in his chest rig, you can make a junctional.
Yep.
tourniquet,
Or even just a pelvic binder
a pelvic binder.
with the
Like,
two tourniquets.
yeah, particularly if you have two
Um,
at a time like that, the two cats.
and he gets in later. He does have, and it's kind of spoiler, he does have a SAM splint. So with the SAM splint and the cats, we can make a better than non-existent pelvic binder. Let me clarify that. It's better than nothing, but it's not as good as a real pelvic binder. But I
Seriously,
can't believe
yeah.
I missed that rats. Oh
I was
my
afraid
lord!
you were
Of
gonna say
course,
tampons. I was afraid you were gonna say tampons.
I
Or a needle D. I was looking for the needle D.
there's probably one in there somewhere.
Okay.
Blowout kits, burn dressings.
So in his medical kit, he has a blowout kit. Why are we using? I hate buzzwords.
I also have a splint in here somewhere. Let's make sure I have that on hand. Band-aids and another tourniquet. So that's going to stay on the top.
Get metal in with his IFAC.
Mm-hmm. He has
I'm
no
assuming
idea where
that's-
his SAM splint is. So he has no idea he has no idea what's in his ruck.
Right.
Mm.
A list would be
Okay.
just a
What's
list,
that?
A list, just like a paper list. Like
Oh yeah,
what's in
yeah.
this,
I-
right?
yeah. There were some medics that did that. They had a laminated, basically like a check sheet, like a pre-flight sheet. They could go through to make sure they had everything they needed before they went out to like go to a range or anything like that. That they had what they needed.
Yeah.
That's an option.
On the front here, I have things that you can do to increase your survivability as well. If I have to go to the bathroom, I want to hold on to that. A black plastic bag and then an emergency blanket. Those are going to stay because once again, I don't know what's going on with this guy and I have minimal time.
Okay, so I'm not like, if he's taking a ruck, I'm not upset that that's in there. It has a purpose.
I have to go to the bathroom. You mean you have to have a bowel movement? Okay. It's not bad stuff to have. It's like general sustainment stuff, but and again, yeah. So far, yeah. Okay.
Make sure that those all stay in there nice and snug. What's in this one?
What's in this one? I don't know what's in my bag.
What's behind door number 3? This is literally
Fire
door
starter
number 3.
Right.
All right, what do we have here?
Good to have. There's my splint.
Fire starting kit.
Okay. Hopefully there's the dick in there.
But again, how long are you planning on this taking?
Well, this is clearly just his take care of me bag.
Yes.
This is his I love me bag.
Yes.
That's all.
This is a well-used SAM splint.
Yeah. So
Splint.
so hold on a second with the you comment on that. So I'm guessing it's been well used because they practiced with it.
I'm hoping.
Is there any, and I'm not familiar enough with them to really comment to say, that's why I'm asking, is there a kind of a lifetime, or is it, if you look at a SAM splint like that, it's kind of obviously been used a lot. Are you
can keep using it? The only time I get concerned is when I can see the aluminum sheeting underneath, because then I start worrying about like that cutting people.
Yeah.
But it's as long as you can't see any of the metal sheet underneath, yeah, you're good. It's meant to be reusable, and not just be a single use item.
Yeah, I knew that. I just was kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
what do you go? Like, this thing's getting ready to go on me.
Yeah,
But-
that looks fine.
Or even like storing it folded is pretty typical. Like I think.
Yeah, folded, rolled. It depends on where you're trying to put it.
Yeah, like so I've seen SAM splints where they come rolled. I've seen like the SAM splint I got from you was folded. It's fine. It's kind of like I always kind of look at it as like, if you ever as a kid, like those cheap wire hanger, cheap clothes hangers.
Yeah.
The white painted ones, and you just bend it back and forth and bend it back and forth until it breaks.
Yeah.
I didn't know how easy it was to do something like that if you just keep bending it at the same inch
I mean, if
point.
you probably put a fold in it and just sit there and bend it at a fold point, like it'll eventually break, but you're not really using a SAM splint like that much.
Yeah, I'm probably a mountain out of a molehill there. Okay,
potentially. I mean, it's a good thought. Like it's sound thought. Like, well, it's like
it's the first relevant medical thing that I've seen so far. So I'm
yeah, this is like the first relevant thing we've seen to the injury set that this guy probably has to deal with, and we're 4 minutes and 45 seconds into this video,
or into his we're a third of the way
or into his 15-minute timer.
Yeah,
this is insane.
Case he rolled his ankle or broke his arm or something like that. These can be used to throw over something or someone if you want to hide, create shade if need be. You can also, it's just a big piece of fabric. You can make a triangle bandage if someone has a broken arm. So
okay, so yeah, triangle bandages with the SAM splint. That's perfect. That's okay, cool. So now we have a pouch out of this entire backpack of stuff for his casualty.
Cool. As far as, I know this is not the topic du jour, but one of the things I like to do with my sniper veil is actually girth hitch a little bit of jute on there, basically so like vegetation will cling onto it if I'm trying to use it for concealment, because it's not an elven cloak of invisibility. It's not what it does. Anyway,
oh man,
I wish be nice. Anyway, yeah, that's an awfully shiny that sniper needs to get stomped into the mud somewhere and left.
Yep. Like the rest of its gear, it's all very clean.
It's very shiny. That backpack needs to be spray painted.
Yeah.
Put some Krylon on there.
Those also are going to stay. So this shooting mat over here on this.
What? Did he just say a shooting mat?
Yes.
A shooting mat. That's what belongs in every 3-day assault pack ruck thing.
You don't
is a shooting mat.
You don't want to get a boo-boo on your elbows.
Mm-hmm. You want a shooting mat. That's the preferred option.
Well, other side, I've thought about.
What's that?
Skinny jeans have very little in insulatory value.
Yeah, they're very they're very vulnerable to abrasion.
All right.
About what I can do with this, kind of a multi-purpose tool for a while. It will roll out. This is made by
name.
Armageddon.
Oh, and he's gonna tell us.
There we go.
Gear. So it rolls out, you can lay down on it and shoot, but it also can be a good summertime sleeping pad. It just kind of keeps you up off the ground.
How long are you planning on this whole fucking thing taking? What the, bro, like an hour, 2 hours max, like before you're at like an established like place. What the hell?
As a insulator, I can see, okay, if this is a bag that he's packed for him, which obviously it is, as an insulating layer for a sleep system, sure. The field where you think you're going to be setting out a mat for a shooting mat, anything other than a flat range, if you think you're going to use a shooting mat in a working environment, I think you're in for a harsh awakening.
Johnny Paratrooper talks about doing it when they were in Iraq, but that's a very specific use case for the hunter killer teams, sitting out on like rooftops and stuff. It has like some potential usability.
That was a modified sleeping pad, right?
Yeah, I mean, but they were using it as a shooting mat.
Yeah, that was something you would already be using for a sleeping pad. This is then used for a secondary purpose, not take something that has a flat range purpose and try to make it have a real world purpose.
Yes. And that also doubled as their litter as well. Because it was just one of those poleless litters. But man, I just like yeah, I mean, I guess for this being like his bag to take out, but like this is the wrong bag to take out. Like I have other bags. Like I'm not grabbing my ruck to go. Like no, I have medical bags full of medical stuff for medical issues.
This is his I love me bag, and that's understandable. Okay, you want to keep your soft pink body whole, but this is an I love me bag. It's not for going and taking care of somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It is humid in Tennessee, keeps moisture from coming into your body, so I will hold on to that and then, oh boy, dig into this Everly stock pack.
He just has to say the brand name of every single thing that he's talking about.
His channel is sponsored, and ours is not, sir.
I can also sleep with myself at night.
Phrasing. Moving on. Everly.
So what do I keep in here? That's right.
What?
Never gets old. Okay.
So on the top, I have a rain jacket, I have a balaclava, I have a change of socks, and then long johns if it does get cold. The weather around here can be really crazy.
Okay, fair. That's cool. Understand. Makes sense.
A jet boil. I'm not planning on being out for very long. I also don't have any food packed in here.
Why do you have a jet boil then?
Boil, but jet boil and no food?
Yep, jet boil and no food.
Make a cup of tea.
Guys, just
ammo.
He's batting 1,000.
Look, he had a black jet boil. Like his wife knew about that one. He really wanted the multicam one. This was the only place he knew to hide it from her. Okay.
Oh my god.
Not nice.
Jet boil and
I
no
know
food.
how guys are.
This is great.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take for the plastic bottom on his jet boil to crack like it.
Well, apparently it already has because I don't think it's on there.
Oh, you're right. It's off. It's not. We're ahead there. Okay.
Of all the things in this bag and that he's pulled up, other than the rifle, that jet boil is the most used looking thing.
Hey, man's got to eat. That is actually a good lesson. Like you may or may not get drink and do other things. So the jet boil, the toilet paper. I'm hoping some hygiene items in there. Yeah, those.
Oh man.
Here at the moment, I'm only going to be away from my house for 1 mile. At worst, I'd say 12 to 24 hours. 24 would be bad, but I don't need to carry this extra weight.
So now we have a time expectation, a time hack on here, if you will. 12 to 24 hours is what he is expecting this to take. I'm sorry, if I have a newborn at home, I'm not leaving for 12 to 24 hours by myself in a collapse.
Yeah, a lot can happen.
It's not happening. I'm sorry. Like,
and a lot can happen to the old guy too. It's like,
yep.
No, you need to find a problem. You need to find a solution.
Yep.
This is going to stay here. This is a waterproof bag that has socks and underwear in it. Definitely want to hold on to that. A bivy sack. If nothing else, I want to keep the bugs off of me. So
off of him. Fuck the casualty.
I told you this is his I love me bag.
But when you start dealing with a casualty, the casualty is the priority.
Yep.
Like we're like when helicopters come in or like wind gusts, like you throw yourself over the body of your casualty.
Yeah,
to prevent rocks and shit from hitting them.
You're their mama for as long as they're under your care. You're their mama. Here's the thing though, is like a lot of the considerations like comfort and homeostasis considerations that he's thinking about are good, but not for him.
Mm-hmm.
For the casualty. Like this is like stuff that you need to be thinking about for the casualty.
Yep. He is able to maintain homeostasis on his own right now.
Yeah, unless he gets injured.
The casualty probably can't.
Right. The casualties have probably been laying on the ground for the last however long,
This way.
and will continue to until you get done with your I Love Me bag. Oh.
Hold on to this, but I don't think I need a full sleeping bag. So I'm gonna ditch this, and that's where if I have to throw this on.
But it's not a full whoopee. That's a sweatshirt. That's a fucking jacket. That's not a whoopee. That's not the same thing. Stop just using words because you hear other people who've actually done shit with their fucking lives use words. Oh my God.
Great. I'll pile on because you guys are just going a little off the deep end on this, but I'm pretty sure a new chapter of Epic of Gilgamesh will come out before this is over.
Like I'm just thinking about the line from Red versus Blue after Caboose gets like all his blood drained out by the baby alien. He's like, I am fine. My body is trying to die. I feel cold. Picture this old guy laying out in the woods like, did they get that radio call? Is it Sleep. Meanwhile,
yeah, no one said anything about the fact that like, has he responded to that radio call?
Yeah, because if you're gonna respond,
like we got the call. Did anyone say, yeah, we heard that. We're on our way. We're getting it ready. The guy's just sitting there like, I don't know if anybody heard me.
This guy's making his peace with his maker. Well, Lord. Like looking at the deer like, I'm sorry, baby.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
I know I was on my way out, I wouldn't have shot you, man.
Oh yeah, this also brings me to another point of if your town isn't getting supplies, someone got a deer. That's valuable.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Actually, he does touch on that briefly later, but I'm picturing the old. Now, granted, this is May in Tennessee, so it's probably not as much of an issue. But I'm like, the old man's laying there on the wood in the woods, looking at this deer, thinking about like doing a Han Solo.
I was just about to.
It's like, I bet that deer's still warm.
Oh my God.
I'm coming, Elizabeth.
Oh man.
Can go on over my not plate carrier, my chest rig. Breaks up an outline if I am wearing different colors. It's really green in Tennessee right now, so I'll hold on to this and this will be a part of a sleeping system. And if I need to crawl into a bivy sack, at least I have one of those. Get rid of this guy for a second. Extra medical nods, definitely.
That wonderful moment.
That
Been waiting this entire time. I'm even over the fact that a sweatshirt does not break up your outline.
No.
Just because it's got tiger stripe doesn't mean it breaks up your outline. You need to go back to shape, shine, texture,
silhouette.
Doesn't do those things. So extra medical nods.
How long are you planning? Oh, we'll just continue.
Oh, before we do, all right, I have a little diatribe. As I've mentioned in the introduction to one of my write-ups for American Partisan, I'm a little tired of medical being used as this umbrella term. And all we're really talking about is an IFAC. Okay, and that's the IFAC without the pill pack either. So you really can't IFAC. Doesn't have the combat pill pack. It doesn't have moxifloxacin or any of those other things. You can't really call it an IFAC. Anymore, you call your 14.5 pin and weld AR-15 an M4. It's not an M4. It's an M forgery. Anyway, off track.
You mean words matter?
No, words only matter if you can sell stuff with them. Medical is not just everything. It's not a Dungeons and Dragons game. Medical is not like, in this pouch I have.
Yeah, this isn't Arma 3 where you just grab a med kit and
it doesn't work like that. It's not
press the space bar.
Left 4 Dead where you can anyway. So
yeah, even with like my Stomp 2, like I need more things in that bag because the capabilities that like it could provide are still lacking compared to what I actually have in it currently. Not saying that like the bag itself is like deficient. Like I have grabbed that to use in the past. And I have no problem, but I wouldn't mind more capabilities out of it than just tourniquets, wound packing gauze, and pressure bandages. There's so much more. And once you get outside of that, man.
But simply for people to say medical,
Mm-hmm.
and all they're really talking about is a trauma first aid kit. That's what
Yep.
they're talking about. Trauma first aid kit.
Yep.
To just label that medical.
Yep.
It's like all medical is equal.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Does he even have a way to take vital signs?
I mean, does he?
That we've, I don't, besides the watch to keep track for a pulse and a respiratory rate. Like,
I mean, that's just should be part of your everyday carry. That's just,
yes, but it's like it outside of a watch, like he has nothing to take vitals, and we're, you know.
So again, like the extra medical, which gets like that 2, maybe 1.5 seconds of screen time before we went into nuts. Extra medical, like what you actually mean is second trauma first aid kit.
Yep.
Probably what you mean, which I can kind of see why you didn't bring an extra one, but you didn't go into that. You just said extra medical, and then you left extra medical for a medical call.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Oh, I just thought of this. A really good, like, kind of to explain like what we're kind of talking about with this. There was an episode of PJ Medcast where they interviewed some guys out of a unit in Vegas, or somewhere in that area, and somewhere in the Southwest, and they responded to a shipboard medical call, and flew out on helicopters being refueled by C-130s, to go fly out in the Pacific to meet a commercial transport vessel, a cargo ship. And they realized like on the flight that like their bags were packed incorrectly because they had just gotten back from Afghanistan and their bags were still packed full of like quick clot and all sorts of trauma. They did have some medical stuff on there. They had some drugs, some antibiotics, analgesics, things like that, and some other stuff. But like they're mainly like their flight bags were prepped for trauma.
Yeah, I mean it could be like okay,
and it was a comment that they meant like they themselves made that like this was a deficiency we had, and we know going forward to have separate bags and to make sure we grab instead of just like in that mindset from deployment, just grabbing the one bag for trauma. Okay, this isn't a trauma call. Like this is a guy with a terrible infection. We need to grab the medical bag. And that distinction, like actually meaning something. And most, like you talked to like most pre-hospital practitioners, there is a distinct difference between a medical call and a trauma call.
Yeah.
And they're entirely different go bags that they would grab as they're walking out of the truck to go treat those injuries, whatever they are.
Without being a pre-hospital guy, I can understand that. Like that makes sense, right? So far, the things that he's mentioned that actually make sense. Sam splint, the sniper veil, the sleeping bag that he tossed away, the bivy sack. I'm honestly not sure about the sleeping mat. That really wouldn't. You can't transport anybody with that. Like even that $20 nylon milsurp thing that I came to class with will give you some way to move people, like much less like the med, which is granted not $200 piece of equipment that I was able to get for a lot cheaper because nobody knows what it is and it doesn't go bang, so nobody cares. But this is like what I should be hearing out of him is I don't have the equipment to do this. I should fix that in the future. Or I know Bubba who does have. He's like, hey, I don't have a Skedco, I don't have anything, but Bubba deer hunts. I should give him a call on the radio and see if he can get that deer game card or that deer sled that he uses for moving deer out of the woods. You know, that should be what this is, not
Yeah. And at the very least, with that poleless litter that you had, it had spots for running poles through. And even if it is just you by yourself, you can drag that like
It had the straps where you can put across the legs, so they're not going to
and you can run the poles in, and you can situate it in a way to drag it similar to what like the Native Americans, like the Plains Indians, would do with their teepee poles, and they would lash stuff to them and drag them behind the horse. That is
a travois.
Yeah, that let's be creative. Let's not just buy equipment. Let's use our noggins.
Isn't that exactly what was shown in
the beginning of the video?
In the movie The Covenant?
I haven't seen that one, so I don't know. I need to watch that one.
I'm pretty sure the Terp rigs up a travois and is dragging him for a while.
Nomadic people, no matter where they are in the world, tend to have fairly similar experiences.
Similar solutions. Similar problems. Now, he didn't have an Everly stock pack, so I'm not.
See, that's probably why he died. I haven't seen the movie, but he probably died because of that, because he didn't have an Everly stock bag.
He didn't die. But he did happen to have experience with like doing bad things to bad people.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway.
I want nods. Okay, so there's this cool rig that's all set up. The boonie cap was given to us by Americana Pipe Dream, and then this rig that's kind of like a nightcap is made by Tracer Tactical, and you can thread everything through and put your PBS 14 or dual tubes or whatever that you have on here. And I could take a helmet, but I'm trying to move fast, and I don't want to have all that extra bulk sitting on here. I don't want to be wearing a helmet.
Okay, a helmet is not that much extra weight. Don't be a pansy. Just I hate this. I detest this. I don't know where it came from. Probably because people are just weak. And I got this hazed out of me. You just wear the helmet. If you're wearing nods, you wear a helmet. If it's that much of a concern that you need nods to move, just wear the dang helmet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not putting on a boonie cover with a bastardized version of a Cry nightcap underneath of it. Like, to not wear, I'm just putting on a helmet. Just wear the damn helmet. It's not that heavy. It doesn't hurt that much. Don't be a bitch.
There are 2 points in favor of the boonie. Okay. The first is it gets a mention to one of their video sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the first and foremost. The second one being you get to look like Captain Price from Call of Duty.
I mean, yeah. Minus the fact that this guy probably still isn't old enough to start shaving yet.
He's smoking, yeah. Well, he probably is. Just doesn't as long as he would like us to think.
Yeah, I hate this. Like, oh, the helmet hurts my head. Wear the helmet more. It toughens up your head.
I saw a bump helmet back there. Bump helmets don't weigh that much.
If I'm wearing a helmet, I'm wearing a ballistic helmet, even an ACH, or a Mitch. Like,
I don't disagree. The helmet I saw back there was a bump helmet. They do not. Vented ones don't weigh that much.
I don't see the. I mean, I get why people. I know why people buy them, but I don't get the like. I will never buy the reasoning for it. Like, if I'm gonna put something on my head like that, I'm just gonna wear a ballistic helmet. Because it's not just like, I'm not just concerned about like fragmentation and like shrapnel. Like, it does protect you from other things, but it also has like, so it'll do everything a bump helmet will do, but it also protects you from shrapnel and debris. Like, why would I not just wear the thing that does the more things?
I ended up getting a bump helmet because it was cheaper, so I bought it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was cheap, so I bought it. But that's something that I'm planning on rectifying at the point in the future.
Yeah. The Mitch helmets are still fairly inexpensive used on the secondary market. The Marine Corps' version before they switch to the high cuts is another option. It's a little bit lighter because theirs is it's like a polymer. It's not Kevlar. It's like a UHWMPE, whatever the acronym is. It's a polyethylene. So it's not like layers of Kevlar. So it is a bit lighter, noticeably lighter than a Kevlar, like an ACH or a Mitch helmet would be.
My bump helmet has a knockoff of I'm assuming it's a knockoff of the Team Windy ratchet.
Yeah, the BOA system.
I really like that. Got
Yeah.
that ready-made resources. And then I saw a surplus. I believe it was based on the helmet cover. It was a Marine Corps issue helmet. It has a actual Team Windy, very heavily used, but still serviceable Team Windy BOA system. Which
Yeah.
I think that's a
Those
nice.
BOA systems are nice. I know a couple people that run them, both personally and professionally run the Team Wendy BOA setup. Is quite nice.
Yeah, probably one of the best upgrades you can do to just
Mm-hmm.
helmet is to just take those. Like, don't spend the money on a full Team Windy necessarily. Just buy the accessories. You know?
Yeah, their pads and then the suspension setup is well worth the price.
Like,
But
putting a Sons of Liberty Gunworks parts kit in your Anderson lower, assuming the parts, assuming the parts don't walk out.
yeah.
During the daytime if I can help it. So inside of this pouch, I have gloves, a wool hat, and then my 14, and some batteries to keep it running as well. And this will just sit on the inside of the hat. Not perfectly protected, but 14s are a lot more durable than people think. Water filtration, I'll take some water, but I know that a mile in pretty much any direction, there's a ton of farmers around here. I do have a good relationship with a lot of them, and I probably won't be hurting for water as long.
So call them to help you get this dude. Why are you going alone when you know your neighbors in all these directions?
Yeah.
Go ask them for help.
Yeah. I mean, you and I, like you more than I, but you and I are both familiar with more arid parts of the U.S., as well as more water fat, to borrow from the Dune series parts. And Tennessee is pretty water fat. Like, you're not going to have problems sourcing water.
Yeah.
The issue that I have learned from Scout, from going out and taking classes and getting training, which I think is maybe a deficit that we have here, is the issue with ag land. You have to think about the main thing that people think about with any water purification, and I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I'm just kind of going over it for the record, is Giardia, which is an amoebic bug. So it's a eukaryote, and either you can filter it out with something like a Sawyer filter or other filters, or you can use the water purification. That's cool. Either iodine or chlorine based. That's fine. What it doesn't do is help you clear out chemicals, runoff, because ag land means fertilizer, and fertilizer means chemicals and stuff that you really don't want in your system. So there simply being water in ag land, I'm not saying you can't use it, but you need to know what's going on in those fields. You need to know if you know these farmers, then maybe you should have asked them just kind of casually, just like, tell me, what do you put on your fields? They're not going to care. They're not going to worry about it unless they think you're going to get on them about organic farming or something.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a lot of valuable information that should be part of your area study, part of your pre-planning. You should be getting this really boring information, seemingly boring information, ahead of time. But he's not wrong as far as, it's going to be easy to source water in that. It's just the next level thinking is, how safe is that water actually?
Absolutely.
You can run it through a Berkey, like a big Berkey with the black filters and everything out of it. That's probably, I don't know. I'm talking out of stuff I don't know. That would be my safe. If I was going to drink that and I didn't know the provenance of that water exactly, I was concerned ag land runoff, I'd want to run it through the black filters off of a big Berkey rather than. And it's not going to probably. I mean, I've done it without. It hasn't killed me, but
you can always distill it as well if you have the capability.
Yeah. Which he's got a cup there, and he just threw away his jet boil. So we know I don't know if he can still boil water if he's got an alternate source of fire.
Well, I mean, like with an actual distill, like a still.
Yeah,
distilling it with the pipes and everything, because that'll separate the chemicals through like the water vapor and sciencey stuff.
yeah. A steel. You can make a steel.
Mm-hmm.
People know all about steels.
As long as I have a way to filter and purify. Okay, there's a lot of uses for these. This is, if you guys have an Eno hammock, you guys probably recognize.
Hammock straps. We have hammock straps. I mean, I guess as a replacement for tubular nylon, maybe, but that's if this is his preferred way to drag, or his planned way to drag this casualty a mile. Oh dear God.
Yeah, we got another product name out there.
It's just a bunch of nylon straps with adjustable set.
I don't see any snap links.
No.
I see some sort of webbing. Okay. I don't see any way to attach it to anything. That kind of material doesn't tie very well.
No.
Maybe it's in there. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Settings. And yes, you can hang a hammock with it, but if it's durable enough to hold 2 people, you could probably lift or pull a deer, or probably find a way to make a litter with this. So I'm going to hold on to these, and then 2 or 3 more items that I have down here. Oh, this is kind of cool. So I have set up, check this out, a pull tab on the top. I ran some 550 cord through this ammo satchel. So this bag, a lot of people are curious about. This is just a saw pouch made by Eagle, and it'll hold Link, or you can hold 6 PMags. If I'm ditching ammo, I don't really feel like I need to, I just had a good idea. I'll ditch all of this, and I'm gonna take those other 2 mags back. I don't necessarily want to carry them on body, but it's not a bad idea to have 2 more mags. So these are gonna go.
So bypasses the quote extra medical and throws in 2 more mags that he pulled off his chest rig already because he wanted to be lightweight. So you didn't save any weight by taking those mags off of your chest rig.
You just
putting them into your ruck. I mean, you save the weight from taking the other mags out, but
what's that?
Don't look now. We're playing a game of hide the mag.
Hide the mag. Ow, bullets hurt. Ow. Reload. Ow.
Oh God.
So I do like the little cord to pull the saw pouch. No, I did not.
Yeah.
Saw pouch was. I knew. I'm not sure who's wondering what that is. Not wondered. I'm sure somebody wondered. That's fine. But I did not hate the cord.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
I might have put something a little more contrasting color so I can find the silly thing.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, that might just be a slight improvement, but I like that of being able to grab it a little more easily. You're just like putting your paw in there, like you're not having to grab anything refined, just scoop it out.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Yeah, and also it looked like he had that loaded high and close to his body.
Yep, sure did.
Which is right. Yeah, it's like that is exactly right. That's where you want to carry those heavier, denser items. So yeah, good on him for that. That was good.
Back down in here. Now I'm packing and unpacking at the same time. Okay, general miscellaneous tools. This is kind of bigger, beefier items, sort of like what I have in my chest rig. I have a lot of small tools in there. This has 550 cord. It has, let's see, tweezers and some knives to dress out a deer if need be. I don't have a ton of experience in that, but I'm gonna go help someone who does. And then a suture kit and things like that. I think I wanna hold on to this, but another item that I can ditch is a gun cleaning kit. We have a video on our, well, my idea of a functional gun cleaning kit on our website. Go check it out if you need to, but I'm not gonna be gone long enough that I think I'm gonna need to actually take this. I do want to break up.
But long enough that you think you're gonna need some sort of sleep system.
That little gun oil bottle should either be in the grip of your rifle with like one of those little adapters, or should just be in your load in your backpack anyway.
But this is how you can tell this guy hasn't, like, he doesn't have experience, because people that have experience, you know what, like, we're taught the priority is for priorities of work. You take care of your equipment before you take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, he needs to go read the Patrol by Dan Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Goes over all that stuff. I read that years ago.
This is a perfect textbook example of how SOF is not just simply defined by the fact that they use high speed gear.
Mm-hmm.
That those are just simply augmentations to what they know and what they do. You can't just buy the gear and magically become as good as them.
Got my outline though, because again, it's really green. This is a tan pack. So let's throw that on there. Set this here, set that there. Let's cinch everything down. This goes to that. Good. Drew, how we doing on time, man? Okay. Well, at least I have pretty much everything sorted here. Can I still access my mags there, right on top? Good, I like that. I have a cinch. Where does the cinch run to? Perfect. Let's put the soft stuff in the middle here. Water I want up a little bit higher. Let's set that there close to the body. Nods, can't forget those, and pad it as best as possible. Let's cinch this sucker down. Oh man, I just realized I threw boots. I think I'm gonna want some, gaiters. There's a lot of ticks and it does get wet out here in Tennessee. That's fairly well packed. Cinched down well. I don't want stuff moving around on me.
He's forgetting things. His whoopee is on the ground because he set it there.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's more concerned about showing you everything than actually packing to make sure he has what he needs.
His boots are still on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah, I did remove some items, so let's make sure that that's not gonna move around a bunch. Close this. Good. Close my top cap. Come on now. Okay.
So it's taken him 12 minutes just to go through his gear.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't even started. I mean, technically he started, but he hasn't even established a plan of what he's going to do. He wasted 12 minutes going through gear that should already be pre-staged and ready to go.
Yep. And we've certainly given our views on the decisions he made with what gear to take. But, something I want to comment on, like when he's all concerned about this tan backpack sticking out in the wood line. You're wearing a black t-shirt and blue jeans.
Yep.
I wouldn't worry about the backpack.
Yep.
I really would.
A short sleeve t-shirt at that. So your skin's all exposed.
Yeah.
Which is shiny and reflective.
I wouldn't worry about the pack. I think the pack is the least of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna worry about it at all.
Yeah. Especially don't have to worry about it if you're just throwing the pack in the passenger seat of your truck.
Okay, now let's throw this back in here. Good. And I can take my 100 Concepts cover. The nice thing is this could come.
Always got a name drop. We gotta make sure we, earn that paycheck.
That's why. Okay. I've forgotten why we were talking. Now I understand. I'm gonna play a little bit. I'm gonna try and advocate for him on this. All right. So why would you want to cami up your pack and not yourself? Well, let's say, for sake of argument, that he takes his pack to his working environment and then decides he's got to leave it while he moves his casualty out. We're planning, but we've belabored that horse. If you don't have some way of cammying up your backpack, you might return to find it gone. You might return to find it gone anyway. Because honestly, green does not blend in very well on a forest floor. The tan is better, but anyway, I'm trying to think of that might be a reason to worry about cammying your pack and not yourself, but you're just stashing it.
Yeah, potentially.
Off if need be. Let's say I'm moving through a bunch of trees and I feel like I'm snagging on stuff. I have not found that to be the case. I've hiked around with it a fair amount. Plus there's Molly on this backpack, so if stuff's gonna snag, it's gonna snag. And cinch this so it doesn't move on me a bunch. Good, okay. I don't need this piece. Oh, I'm also wearing a pistol. I don't need this pistol. I'm taking a rifle, especially carrying appendix. That's not gonna happen for me, so let's just set this here. Build this back out real quick. I have my 3 mags. That's gassed up. I know that these are because I tend to leave it gassed up. Notes, something to write on, something to write with. Seal that.
Where was that earlier? Where were the notes? You didn't take any notes.
Yeah,
You didn't take any notes. He's taking his pistol off. Like,
I'm not buying the taking a pistol off because, I mean, is it because he's going to be wearing a pack? Because
yeah, that's why, because it's going to interfere.
Not that badly. I mean, it's like he's carrying appendix. That's not where your weight is. If you were carrying a pistol at like 4 o'clock, I could see that argument. I've carried appendix with a pistol with a much less comfortable holster than one he has there.
Mhm.
It's not that big a deal. I think this is like the wanting the boonie cap for your night vision. Just like, no, you need to harden up a little bit. Because if you're working on your casualty, you're going to have your hands occupied. Hopefully you have your rifle slung. I don't remember if I saw a sling on that rifle.
I think there is one. It's just tied up on the front end.
Okay, fair enough. All right. But if somebody surprises you, you're more likely to be able to get to your pistol if somebody comes up on you. You are to be able to necessarily get to that rifle again. So, and if you do need to go, let's say it gives you options. I just wouldn't throw away options like that. But
Very good, very good. I got to change my boots, but other than that, I think this is pretty ready. Let's do a quick check and make sure that everything is fitting and feeling good. Oh, Ear Pro.
What? Oh, Ear Pro. What?
Okay, so I've heard, and I don't know. I'm asking you because I don't know, but I've heard of something called zipper discipline, which is like basically if you open something, you close it back up, and you close it back up where the tabs are in a predictable place, right?
Yeah.
You're the same. It's consistent.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
yeah. My bags are set up like that. My aid bag specifically. I always kept my zippers on the left-hand side as I was wearing it. And it wasn't for any particular reason other than I just picked a side. And that way I knew every time where my zippers were going to be.
Yeah. And when you open something, if you were not actively working in that little pocket, you close it again, right?
Yep.
Because
you don't want to start a yard sale.
Yeah. And I'm watching him like do all this, like panicking, like he's like the stress is coming up and he's trying to get these zippers closed. And I was like, a lot easier if you just close that when you were
when you were done.
Yeah. This is like again, this is a training and skills thing, not a money and stuff thing.
Yep, exactly.
But all right, Ear Pro. We definitely need Ear Pro.
Sure.
Have a down lead to actually run to my comms. So let's do this.
I already have ear protection. It's called your can.
Okay, I have medical. I have stuff to take care of myself.
No, you don't. You have trauma gear. You do not have medical.
I have a rifle. I do not have a pistol.
Oh, I didn't notice this. He has 2. That's not a cat on his left-hand side.
It's not?
That looks like a soft T. Because it's like either if it is a cat, it's upside down. But that doesn't look like a cat.
You would know better than I would. This
Autism.
Shiny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was looking at the one.
I need to communicate with my wife and tell her what's going on. Good. good. Trying to get all this weight as much as possible on my hips. Cinch that down. Close that up. I'm sure people have particular ways to actually cinch everything down on their pack.
Look at this bumblefuck of straps. Comparing that to how new that pack looks.
Yeah.
This is how, like, in this is how you can tell, like, whether or not someone has, and even just taking training classes, like, it, and even outside of, like, in the military, that's how we could tell people that, like, didn't give a shit versus the ones that actually did, is like people would tape up their straps, like disciplined units taped up their straps. The ones that were worth a shit taped up their straps.
I learned that in GDA, Green Dragon Academy. Johnny was still running classes, and it's like a big deal if you're a paratrooper, you know, jumping out of perfectly serviceable aircraft. You don't want a lot of stuff whipping around, and anytime you're working around any kind of machinery, I mean, ask any farmer about like how they lose fingers. Stuff getting caught in machinery, right? And you're usually working around a lot of machinery, particularly in the modern military. You're working around a lot of machinery, but like it would be a little embarrassing to like be getting out, you know, running out of your car, your truck, whatever, shut the door and like come to a sudden stop because a strap got, you know, caught in the door. He was talking, he was all concerned about things getting caught in bushes, and he's got all this stuff. It increases the amount of random movement, draws the eye. There's a lot of reasons to tape your straps up.
But as long as it works for you, the goal is to get the weight off of your shoulders and more onto your hips. Very good, very good. Do I have batteries in here? Yes, I do. Nice. Okay. Dang it. There's always something going on. This is gonna have to come with me, and I'm gonna have to pack it on the way. Okay, close this back up. 3 minutes left. Okay, am I forgetting anything?
Yeah, a plan.
So many things.
Other people.
So far, you don't have boots on.
Nope.
You haven't talked to your wife about it. You have 1 minute. You don't have 3 minutes. You have 1 minute left. You still have to load your rifle, brief your wife, make sure that you have the proper frequencies in place. You know, put your SOI in place. Boots on. Yeah. All right. The old man's dead by now. His old man's crawl. The old man is probably tougher than this. He's probably crawled his way back to the house at this point. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I was waiting on you, but I never heard a call back. So I just decided I'd crawl my way back to the house.
Yeah, this is, man, what a show.
No, I guess I'll use those 3 minutes to go talk to my wife, explain, apologize, whatever it is that you have to do. Very good. I have to do some cable management here because this is all done last minute. I will go tell her I have a route as far as where I'm going. I'm gonna throw some boots on while I talk to my wife, and this needs to be packed in last minute as well.
Resources.
Hey, babe.
Are you playing with your friends again?
Yep. Never mind.
Okay,
I'll
that's
give
just
credit for a little humor, but it needs it.
I mean, it is a little bit of humor, but at the same time, like,
Humor.
if your wife is answering that way, like that long into a collapse situation, like
It's a joke.
Yes,
it needs a joke at this
but
point. It's a conscious joke. Let's
man.
put it there. Be specific. It's a conscious joke. It's intentional.
Yeah, this is, oh man. Yeah, that's just, it's interesting.
I'm glad these guys are thinking. I'm glad these guys are engaged, to the extent that they are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've taken some criticism. It's gonna take a little more.
Yeah.
Um, just a little more thought would be good. And I mean, yeah, when you put yourself out there on the web, you do open yourself up, and
Mm-hmm.
granted, okay, you open yourself up to criticism. And okay, we got a little spicy. It's really not meant hatefully.
No, not at all.
We want improvement. We want these guys to succeed. We want them to do better.
Yeah.
And succeed. And like, I don't want anybody to die. I don't want, man, I've seen stuff on some of these channels and like, this is going to get people killed at it. Because,
Yep.
man,
Yeah.
this is not a game. I mean,
Nope.
We can have fun. We can enjoy it. We can have like a lot of good camaraderie and a lot of laughs. But this is not a game. If you're talking about these kinds of things, this is serious business, and there comes a time at which you need to treat it with a certain level of professionalism, a certain level of seriousness.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if
I
you're
can't
gonna
think of anything else.
make a video about, let's just go through my I Love Me bag and sell and push our sponsors, do that. Don't label it as how you label it, because there are a lot of impressionable people that will take this as like, oh, cool, this is how I should do this. Don't know any better.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Man, that's,
You get a name in this community, and like you have Sergeant Major Lamb on your channel. That comes with a certain amount. You're gonna get some people are gonna take what you have to say seriously.
yeah.
Because there is I'm sorry, I'm not wording very well right now. There is some implied authority there, so there's some implied approval of the things you say. And so you know, the Uncle Ben quote, with great power comes great responsibility. It's like,
Yep.
double checking yourself and doing your due diligence that you're not putting out information that's really dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take it seriously.
All right. Well, I think this is a good place to call it. That way people don't try to say we were just hounding on them. Because I want everyone to be better. Like you said, it's a real thing. But people have their own different reasons for getting into putting out information, and it's just how I'm gonna leave that there.
Some real training.
Yeah.
If you can get out to a class like brush beater, great. If not that, if you know a former infantryman with some real experience, like, go, these guys, like, it's these are not they like to come across as knuckle draggers. They're not stupid people.
Yeah.
If they had any kind of success in the infantry,
Mm-hmm.
they're not stupid. And they can teach you a lot of things, a lot of little things that can't be shipped to your door.
Yeah.
But it's extremely important. Like a lot of the little things that we touched on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go get training.
Yep.
One
All
time,
right.
just one time you'll hear me say something like Garand Thumb. Go get some training.
All right. Yeah. Get some training. I don't have anything to add to that. You don't.
If you guys have stuck around with us this long, God bless you. I've certainly been in here and running my mouth, and just a good time. Thanks for having me on, Mac.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on here. It's been a pretty good time.
Yeah. When it comes to preps, guys, good enough and plenty of it. I know there was a lot of fancy brand names that were dropped in the video we were reviewing, but just like good enough and plenty of it. You got a lot of bases to cover.
Yeah.
Potentially prepping for other people that you care about, but that are not bought in at this point. So
Yeah.
This is not a fashion contest. This is potentially a matter of life and death. So old Remus would say from the Woodpile Report, good enough and plenty of it.
All right. Okay.